Okay, so as y'all no doubt heard by now, tomorrow, February 8th, 2023, is the annual February Nintendo Direct. We know not what will be revealed there, though some may harbor suspicions. Yeah. As for what I think will happen, well, then just stay tuned and find out. Anyway, the first is probably worth mentioning what we already know is on the way. For titles that have been announced but have yet to release, these are, including but not limited to, the highly anticipated Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, the Dragon Quest III Remake, Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection, if I'm not mistaken, Genshin Impact, which many are questioning why it hasn't released yet, Hollow Knight Silksong, of which we still don't know the release date for, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, of which shall release quite soon, the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, which definitely looks promising, Metroid Prime 4, which needs no introduction, Octopath Traveler 2, Pikmin 4, the Super Mario Brothers movie, which will probably get a trailer or some actor interviews or something. And of course, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Now where to begin, as far as discussing these? Of course, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. I mean, there have been signs that Nintendo may have updated their internal database. And at this point, there have also been rumors of retail displays and such. So, yeah, there is a good chance that we could hear something from that, and that it could be coming soon. However, one thing that I have heard people say is that they think it's going to be a stealth drop. Perish the thought. They're of course going to be releasing physical copies of that. I mean, they probably went through I'm pretty sure they went through all that trouble to print them all last year. In fact, I know they did. There were some that leaked out. So, of course, there are some copies already in existence that were either recalled or had their street date extended. So therefore, of course, they're going to be releasing that eventually. Possibly quite soon. Okay, next on the list, Bayonetta. Reasonable to assume that they'll show a trailer for that. Although I don't know much else to say about that matter. Dragon Quest III Remake. This is, of course, not a first-party title, but rather something by Square Enix. This will, of course, be something that is hard to say, but if it is far enough along in development, maybe we will see something. But I'm not going to get my hopes up for that one. Likewise, of course I'm going a bit out of order here, but it makes more sense to speak of this now. We might, if it's just part of the quote-unquote sizzle reel towards the end, we'll probably see an ad for the upcoming Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection. Of course, it's worth noting, even if the American version of the Direct doesn't have something, I'll of course be checking the Japanese version after the American version airs, in order to see if there is something that would otherwise go unnoticed. Okay, so next in line, Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. A flip of the coin for this one. It could have it could have a trailer. It could not. And let's see, Genshin Impact. That's been in development for quite a while. I'll apologize for the interruption. Yeah, did you really think that this was just an overlay? No, unfortunately I'm doing this in real time. So, yeah, I apologize for the delay. Or distraction, I mean. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Next in line, Genshin Impact, which I hear is quite popular these days. I mean, of course, I've heard nothing either way as far as the progress of this. Yeah, so, yeah. I'd say there's a good chance that it could be there. But again, don't get your hopes up. Hollow Knight Silk Song. I mean, it's pretty much a running gag at this point of it not being as a direct. So, on one hand, we might not see anything, as is usual. Or, on the other hand, they could surprise us and actually have something for Hollow Knight Silk Song as a direct. Unfortunately, we won't know till tomorrow. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That's what's next on the list. With this one, with it being a very imminent release, means there's a good chance that something will be in regards to the the remaster will be there. Perhaps they'll showcase something, and perhaps they'll showcase some of the new content that I've heard about. Or maybe you'll just be, yeah, or maybe it's just another promotion. Who knows? Um, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. That's another thing that could be there. Although, again, in what capacity? Unknown. But then again, and it's possible that they might forgo yet another promotion for this, so unknown. Now, Metroid Prime 4. That's a title that has been a hot topic lately, and I've used the term lately very loosely, to the point where if it's any looser, it would come untied. This, of course, is something that it is unknown on what the status of it is. So for that reason, and I'm just going to outright say that if Metroid Prime 4 is going to be there, it's going to be the grand finale. Now, with Pikmin 4, oh wait, one moment, wait, I seem to have skipped over one. Yeah, Octopath Traveler 2, that's actually next in line on the list I wrote. Yeah, again, same story with some of the other titles. We could get something, we could not. Which I'd say there's a chance. Now for Pikmin 4. I mean, of course Nintendo's gonna have something for that. I mean, the game is on the way, so with its release being being perceived to be so close, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't release a trailer. And of course, that's mentioned, and of course, for the next item on the list, the Super Mario Brothers movie. As previously mentioned, we'll probably get a trailer, maybe an interview. Now, of course, the big one. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, first of all, I should probably say that Metroid Prime 4, now I think of it, could actually be the opening act. But either way, regardless of where Tears of the Kingdom will be in the Direct, I mean, I'd say that, yeah, of course we're gonna get it, but as for what they'll show, that remains to be seen. Although my suspicions as for things are, well, of course, I mean, other than the actual game, other than actual footage, is this. First of all, there was that OLED that had leaked a while back, so of course of course, I highly doubt that said OLED images. I mean, said leaks. I mean, the leak I'm pretty sure is real. So, assuming I'm right, of course we'll see a reveal of that. And of course, one other thing that I am pretty certain as to what could be revealed as far as Tears of the Kingdom is concerned, that of course is Amiibo. Yeah. I mean, they'll probably reveal an Amiibo of Link with his new arm, or of his new hand. An Amiibo of Ganondorf. And of course, an Amiibo of something relevant to the story that hasn't been revealed yet. Or at least not to the extent that we assume. So, other than that, we might we might end up with a proper gameplay trailer or overview trailer or something. Or alternatively, they could just simply reveal that as there's going to be another direct for it. Either way, we won't know till tomorrow. Of course, next on the list is known upcoming DLC. I mean, known DLC for or titles that has been announced. I mean, known announced DLC is, in alphabetical order, of course, Fire Emblem Engage Expansion Pass, the Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope Expansion Pass, the highly anticipated Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, the yet unnamed Splatoon 3 expansion, and the Xenoblade Chronicle 3 expansion pass. I'm not going to go into what I think could be revealed as part of these expansions. And not today, at least. But, of course, I guarantee that at least one of these will be showcased. Definitely not all of them, but definitely at least one. Oh, and it's worth disclosing that with the last list of things I spoke of. It's very unlikely that all of these will be there. In fact, very unlikely that at half of these will be there. Well, that's going a bit harsh. I'd say half of them will probably be there. But anyway, that's enough of the known. Now into the unknown. Starting with the public's suspicions. Some of these have precedence, others don't. First on the list, the Batman Arkham Collection. There have been leaks from a variety of ratings boards for this one. And likewise with the next one, Borderlands 3. Of course, unknown whether the Batman Arkham Collection or Borderlands 3 is coming to Nintendo Switch anytime soon. The Batman Arkham Collection, I'd say, has a chance. I mean, some of those games were on Wii U, so if it can run on Wii U, it can run on Switch. Unless it requires both screens at once. That is. or the use of a camera. But I don't think the Batman Arkham collection relied on that. In fact, because it was a multi-platform release, it didn't rely on that. So, yeah, they could just port or just about any version, or they could just update the Wii U version to better match the standard versions. Either way, I'm not expecting any it doesn't have to be a fancy remaster. I mean, it just or anything. But well, anyway. Next on the list for Borderlands, but I've already spoiled that bit. I mean, it's debatable whether or not it will run, but it's of course, again, there have been ratings board leaks, so I'd say it's a chance. Now, with Chrono Trigger, they did update the PC version in recent memory, so there's a chance they could just port that to Nintendo Switch. But don't get your hopes up. In fact, I'm gonna say this ain't gonna happen, because we've been burned by that one so many times. Anyway, next on the list is a first-party title, F-Zero GX HD. I'll just say this. Personally, I don't think it's F-Zero GX that's on the way, if it is on the way. But rather, the arcade version, F-Zero OAX. My reasoning for this is simple. I suspect that they're saving pretty much all the GameCube games for an upcoming GameCube Online edition to Nintendo Switch Online. And before you say anything, no. GameCube Online is not going to be at this Direct. I guarantee that. That's a September thing. Maybe July. They're not going to reveal GameCube Online in February. And though I could see why they would do an HD port of F-Zero, I'm just going to say that I think it's going to be an arcade archives release instead. Next on the list, Kid Icarus Uprising HD. Y'all probably heard by now, I was speaking in a rather shall we say suspicious manner concerning the game. So it is possible that that could be what the next Nintendo Bandai Namco collaboration is. That is currently has currently seen some job listings. But on the other hand, if they're gonna and I doubt it, because I mean, come on, the timing is wrong. So unless they're hiring people for making a sequel to that, it's not going to happen, and instead those resources are more likely to go to something else. Now, am I saying that Kid Icarus Uprising HD isn't going to happen? I didn't say that. I still say there's a chance it could happen. but we can't use job listings as evidence in this case. Next on the list, the third-party title, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. There were a couple of ratings boards leaks for this, or should I say, rumors. Yeah. So, of course, I mean, the third one was on Wii U, so as I said previously, if it was on Wii U, it will run on Switch. For the most part. So, yeah. Might happen, or it could be something that is just a pipe dream. Anyway, next in line, a Metal Gear Anniversary Collection. I'm calling it that in accordance with the established naming conventions of previous Konami collections. If this were to happen, I suspect that it would not just be Metal Gear Solid, but also the MX2 version. I mean the MX2 computer or releases. Yeah, those would probably also be there. Of course, I wonder what of course, on that note, I have to question what are the chances of the non-canon Gaiden that was meant to be a sequel to the first one. What are the chances of that coming to NES Online? Of course, I've heard that there have been some licensing issues with some live-action footage used in those, so unclear. I mean, with this and Silent Hill, I have to question whether Konami wants to put in the effort to port these to Nintendo systems, or if they just rather do 4K remakes. So, possible, but unlikely. Okay, next on the list, Metroid Prime HD. I said it that way because, well, I don't want to say just Metroid Prime 1 or just Metroid Prime Trilogy, because this one's already far enough up in the air as it is. So, it's unclear if we're getting this. And as stated previously, I don't think so, simply because of Nintendo Switch Online. But that's just my own bias there. So, I'm honestly not sure there. Could happen, could not. Could be one, could be many. But next on the list, well, I'm actually going to list both of them at once. A new Donkey Kong game and a new Mario game. Well, first let's get one thing out of the way. It could be both. It could be a game that has Mario and Donkey Kong. Maybe we're getting a maybe we're getting another game in the Mario and Donkey Kong series. Yeah. But in all seriousness, though, admittedly, that series could see another release easily enough. And the rumor actually refers to two separate games continuing on from where the existing series left off. Donkey Kong, some are saying country, some are saying something else entirely, something brand new that we never got before. One moment. There, that's better. No more being interrupted by monsters. Unless they're AV keys. Anyway, as I was saying, it could be, and it's possible that a new Donkey Kong Country game has been in development all this time alongside Metroid Prime 4. But there's also a rumor that a different studio is making something else entirely. And with Mario, though it could make for good promotion and for the upcoming film, on the other hand, it could also be a bit much and actually take away from the film. So I'm gonna say Donkey Kong is likely, Mario not so much. However, there is something else that could be. I mean, that, of course, being a new Mario sports game. And by process of elimination, I mean, obviously, it's not tennis, it's not golf, and it's not... and, of course, it's not, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's not soccer. Well, I mean, because we just got strikers. A couple years back, we got golf. And early on in the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, we got tennis. So therefore, by process of elimination, I mean, first of all, I don't think that this is an Olympic year, so I doubt that there. So yeah, it's not the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, because I'm pretty sure that's next year, not this year, unless I'm mistaken. So by process of elimination, it's either Mario Hoops or Mario Sluggers. I mean, the basketball game Mario Hoops, I mean, it's been a while. Could happen. Or, more likely, Mario Sluggers. That's what the rumor. That's what more of the rumors have said. So, yeah. I'm leaning more towards it being Super Mario Sluggers. Plus, that functionality is missing from Nintendo Switch Sports. So therefore, it's not unreasonable to assume that they'll have a Mario baseball game to fill the void and work out kinks in the engine. One moment. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a bit rusty at this. There. That past is gone. Now, as I was saying, Super Mario Sluggers could be what they use to work out the kinks in the for baseball before putting baseball in Nintendo Switch Sports, or it could be the substitute. Either way, it makes sense for the it makes sense for it to be Sluggers. And I'd say there's a high probability that either Sluggers or Hoops will be there. Okay, next on the list is The Legend of Zelda GameCube HD. What's that doing on there? I thought I removed that. We're not it's clear we're not getting either of those two, or the Wind Waker or Twilight Princess anytime soon. That's next year's game if it comes out. Plus, again, GameCube Online. Yeah. Which leaves the last item on the list being Xenosaga. These, last I checked, originally never got a Nintendo system release. But now that Nintendo owns Monolith Soft, I'd say there is a chance that they could be working with Bandai Namco to port over some of those games. In fact, maybe that's what that job listing was all about. So, maybe. But again, don't get your hopes up. Okay, so to recap. Let's see. Batman Arkham Collection and Borderlands 3 are titles that have rumors stemming from the recent and from recent memory and some ESRB leaks or ESRB and equivalent listings. Yeah. Chrono Trigger, that's something that people always seem to want, but probably not going to happen. But could be, but on the other hand, isn't too difficult to bring over. F-Zero GX is going to be, I suspect is going to be the arcade version instead of the GameCube version. Kid Icarus Uprising, Sakurai was hinting at that. Mass Effect means there were some, there, of course, were some ratings board details. In Metal Gear and Island Hill have been ones that have been topics of interest lately, but it may not be likely. Metroid Prime HD could go either way. New Mario and Donkey Kong games, or both. Hard to say. One moment. Now, where was I? Oh, right, of course. In a Mario sports game, probably Sluggers, likely. In Xenosaga, also potentially likely. But then again, who knows? Any of the DLC for upcoming games could have a showcase, but definitely not all of them. And of course, there are a variety of titles already previously announced that could see something, or could not. Now, for my personal suspicions. These being, first in line, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Either that or the Investigations sub-series of Ace Attorney. It is possible that these could be what's next in line after Mega Man and Battle Network. However, it's also worth noting that because Battle Network hasn't come out yet, that we may not see at the Direct, simply because as Capcom could be focusing all their efforts on Mega Man, which is fine. So, but I just want to call it in case it does happen. Of course, there's also the possibility that there could be a brand new Ace Attorney game on the way. But, yeah. Next in line, DuckTales Remastered. Why is this on the list? Well, when browsing the Wii U eShop recently, I noticed that the Wii U version was relisted. Which, if I remember correctly, didn't WayForward lose the license for DuckTales a while back due to expiration? Which means if what I'm saying is correct, and they did get a new license or renew the old one, then of course there's the question. Then of course you have to ask why, other than the fact that they can. And the answer to that is simple. Consoles that are not backwards compatible getting a port. So, therefore, it's reasonable to assume that if WayForward got the license for DuckTales again, then DuckTales Remastered could be coming to both Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. A modern Xbox port is also possible, but then again, it's probably something that is probably a backwards compatible thing. Now, I already discussed F-Zero AX, so I'll skip that and go to Half-Life Complete. Modders did make Half-Life work within a Portal port that was released for Switch last year. So it's reasonable to assume that as because they were able to do that, then if they were to port Half-Life to Nintendo Switch, it would probably use the same engine. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. So, yeah. Considering the success of the companion collection, I mean, it's a no-brainer for them to also bring Half-Life to Nintendo Switch. Oh, not you again. Yeah, I apologize for this interruption. Yeah. Alright. No more Mr. Nice Link. Assuming the camera will cooperate. Alright, that doesn't work. That's what you get for interrupting me. Anyway, as I was saying, Half-Life Complete, or Half-Life Collection, I'm not sure what they're going to call it, very well could happen. Okay, next on the list, Marvel vs. Capcom. there were many of these released. Oh, there were multiples of these released over the years, so I'd say there's a good chance that if the if licensing agreements can be sorted out, in at least one of them could show up. I mean, of course, there is precedence for this, seeing as there have been a decent number of Capcom arcade collections released in the past few years, so it wouldn't be that difficult to make a port to do an arcade port of Marvel vs. Capcom in the same style as the previous fighting game collections. Of course, I have to wonder about other Marvel games, such as Captain America and the Avengers, also coming. But if I had to guess, those would probably be a standalone collection. Or would they? I don't know. I mean, there's really only unless I to have X-Men arcade games be separate. I mean, they probably would, and they probably, yeah, not you again. I'm getting very tired of dealing with these guys. Yeah. I'm just walking along, minding my own business, and yet these guys show up. Alright, that's enough. Seeing as Ganon didn't need those. Okay, I'll just wait for you to do that. Oh, and aim it properly. Take that. Yeah. Ganon didn't seem to need those, so yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, next on the list is well, the yeah. Next on the list is the NES Remix series. I mean, most of the best yeah, most of the best Wii U games have in fact made their way to Nintendo Switch by now, or alternatively gotten a sequel. This is not the case for NES Remix at this time. So, with this year being the 40th anniversary of the Famicom in Japan, I'd say that there is in fact precedence for a port of NES Remix to release this year. And therefore could be showcased in the Direct. Or alternatively, they could save it for, a later direct, or just push it till 2024, so it can be an anniversary item for not only itself, but also the NES as well, by being in between. Yeah, one thing I hope they change it in Tears of the Kingdom is adding a button to switch categories in order to save some time. But anyway, as I was saying, okay, next on the list. Well, hold off on that next one for now. Pac-Man World Repack. I mean, for the second one, not the first one, which we already got. It's reasonable to assume that they might have been working on remastering the entire trilogy. So therefore, or assuming that information is true, then they probably have a few, extra, and they probably have a few of the assets that they can carry over from the first one and use in the second one. And of course, well, I'm pretty sure that the first one was a success, so I don't see why not. But of course, if Bandai Namco is working, if of course I've already listed many possible Bandai Namco projects, we'll probably only get one or two Bandai Namco things in this direct. So, of course, one of the things I said could happen, of course, definitely won't for this reason. Now, let's see, I already spoke of Silent Hill, so I'll skip that one for now. Let's see, SimCity. I think EA has pretty much abandoned. I'm pretty sure EA has pretty much abandoned the series at this point. So therefore, unless it gets released on Nintendo Switch Online, it's probably not going to happen. But then again, never say never. I mean, they could port a mobile version of SimCity to it. Okay, next in line, Star Fox Zero. I know this game is in fact the worst selling Star Fox game in history. However, hear me out. The biggest complaint of this game was the controls. Having to use use a TV for flying and the gamepad screen for aiming. This is something that is easily fixed, because by now lots of people are accustomed to using gyro controls for aiming for games like Splatoon and I guess Doom as well. Oh, and of course, Earthquake. I know for a fact that Ash got put in there. But of course, one issue is that Platinum Games is most likely too busy with Origins at this time to do a remaster of a failure. Or should I say a port of a failure, not a remaster. They wouldn't need to change the graphics. But yeah, so, but yeah, if they were to bring it to Switch, they'd probably ditch the cockpit view except by button toggle and have it just be gyro aiming for or firing, whilst also offering an alternative method of aiming, such as having the option to toggle between between what the sticks do and what the gyro does. But as much as I like to say that Star Fox Zero could be coming to Nintendo Switch, it's very unlikely to happen. But what is likely, assuming that what's the name getting fired because Disney didn't like something that was done in the remake of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And I'd say that there's a good chance that a port of Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 could be coming soon. And it was a Nintendo Direct that revealed some of the Star Wars ports. Okay, 2 more items on this list. Tekken. At the moment, there are absolutely no Tekken games on Nintendo Switch, despite there being plenty of them. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 was available on Nintendo's was available on the Wii U. So therefore, of course, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and all games from before that, in other words, anything but 7 or 8, will in fact run on Nintendo Switch. But of course, with this being a Bandai Namco item, and the fact that my list already has many Bandai Namco items on it, I mean, I have to question the likelihood of Tekken. Oh, and finally on the list is Watch Dogs. Of course, this was on Wii U, the original, that is. However, with that statement about to Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope being a quote-unquote failure despite it topping the charts multiple times in a row. Oh, well, not actually, that's an exaggeration. It was on the charts, but didn't top them. Yeah. So I have to question whether or not some Ubisoft would go through with Watch Dogs. And while I'm on the topic of Ubisoft, I don't know if any Assassin's Creed games would be announced at this direct either, because I can't think of any that would be next in line. I mean, most of the best ones are in fact already on there at this point, I think. I could be wrong though. Yeah. So yeah, a recap of this section. Ace Attorney, possible but unlikely due to but not as likely due to the imminent release of, of Battle Network. DuckTales Remastered, extremely possible because, in my opinion, because as if they have the license again, and well, I mean, I'd say it's something that at Way Forward could easily pull off. I mean, F-Zero AX. I mean, if we are getting F-Zero, I still say that's probably what it is. Unless they actually decide to make a new one, which, doubtful. Half-Life, compatible engine available, so probably. But not necessarily at this direct. Marvel vs. Capcom, I'm gonna say not as likely due to licensing issues, but on the other hand, likely due to compatibility. NES Remix could happen, but could happen next year as well. Pac-Man World 2 repack, if that is a candidate for what is again a likely candidate for what Bandai Namco could bring to the table tomorrow. Silent Hill, possible but unlikely due to PlayStation's recent involvement. SimCity, unlikely due to EA's neglect. Star Fox Zero, not very likely due to it being a failure. And, yeah. Okay, that worked. Yeah, I missed the first time. You think he would have been alerted. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, much as I want to have on Star Fox, I mean, I think, think Platinum might have that might be busy right now. Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, very likely. Tekken, possible, if not for the fact that they're impossible. Oh, but they are also busy with Tekken 8 at the moment, so may not be very likely. And Watch Dogs, hard to say. Yeah, I know that this editorial is going on quite long, but I have one more thing to say. Given the patterns of previous of previous times, I'd say that, well, there very likely will be something revealed for Nintendo Switch Online tomorrow night. My reasoning in this matter is simple. This has happened before. In July being the last time I'm July being the last time that at either NES or SNES got any new games. So, before February revealing something big, as was the case with Earthbound. Therefore, implying that they might be doing it again, because everything seemed to go about how it did before, even and down to the surprise. Yeah, even down to the surprise, uh, or quote unquote, release of Sega Genesis games in the second half of December. How did I not see that Korak puzzle before? Either way. Yeah. So of course, for the for tomorrow, I guarantee something will be added to Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah. As for what is, of course, though Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is a game that people really want, and of course, so of course, a Nintendo Direct reveal would be how it gets added. It's also possible that maybe they've added something else that previously was thought to not be possible, such as Mario Paint or Duck Hunt. Other games include the mysterious Murasame Castle, or Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon: The Blade of Light, and along with it in Japan, Suracia 776, if I remember correctly. I think that's the title, but I'm probably butchering it. Um, yeah. Either way, the fifth Fire Emblem game, being the only SNES Fire Emblem game not on Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah, Asia 776, that is the name, in fact. So, yeah. Uh, so, yeah. It is very likely that something for either NES or SNES, more in something that a something that would have to be something big enough to have to be announced at a Nintendo Direct will be, in fact, announced at the Nintendo Direct. Of course, another game that comes to mind is Battletoads. I mean, that one, I think, is big enough. As for the addition of a new system, though it is possible that they could add Game Boy in Game Boy Color to the base tier, and of course, yeah, and of course, or some Game Boy Advance to the expansion pass tier. I think it's unlikely for that to happen this time of year. So, yeah. As far as what I think could happen, there are quite a few games that have previously been announced that could be at the Direct. A few third-party games that a few that have not been announced that could be there. And so, and of course, the usual first-party games, which is probably the very reason for the Direct in the first place. Either way, Breath of the Wild, I mean not Breath of the Wild, but its sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, will in fact probably be there. Although, I guess speaking of Nintendo Switch Online, which I mentioned previously, it's possible that the season pass for Breath of the Wild could be added to the expansion pack for Nintendo Switch Online. In fact, I'm gonna say, yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. Either way, the sun is setting in this title, so I guess I should probably sunset this editorial. I mean, again, we know not what will be at the Direct or how many things will be there. We can only speculate at this time. Do not take anything that anyone says as a guarantee or definitive proof. But of course, it's fun to speculate, regardless. Either way, that is all. And this guy will pay for him being a nuisance throughout this video. Cut.